been caught in such a trouble of pandemic due to COVID-19. I hope everyone is staying safe and sound. First important thing is that I want to inform you that all the audio mic should be kept muted until unless I inform you or I mention you or instruct you that to open the mic, then only you will open the mic, or else no unnecessary disturbances will be allowed. Okay? Welcome back to my class. Uh, I have been very much waiting for this session actually. Basically waiting for this analysis of structures 2 class. So bringing to your notice, so what we are going to learn in this subject, very important. Let me first, hello everyone, then I will start. Within 2-3 minutes, I will start the class today. And surely we will be informing you that we will be taking the class as per as the routine schedule, unless and until the other faculty they're taking the class something different manner. Also, the recording of these classes is being done for your attendance purposes. And that is why I've told you in the meeting also, in the mail, that everyone should be joining the meeting with the roll numbers perfectly, because that is the most important. Everyone should be joining with the roll numbers, because that helps me for everyone, so that I can cross check the attendance. Okay. I hope everyone have joined. Let me check. Let me admit all my students. So I hope everyone is staying safe and sound, and you're not moving out of the house. The most important thing during this 4 months unofficial or uncalled holiday, the main thing is that it is a very nice time. You can all conduct or attend online webinars and online seminars as well. And very important thing, during these online classes, sometimes we feel that very bored after going all these long lecture classes. But practically, if you think in a more positive manner, we are actually gaining a huge amount of energy by not wasting time by traveling and all the sorts. We are able to learn because of this technologically advancement. We are all able to learn very soon as far as our timings and very stipulated short of time. So everyone should be attending these classes, all the classes in your third year, with a very serious note. You just feel that you're just attending the normal classes in college. Because of this pandemic, we have to face this online technology. So it's almost 10:06, 5 minutes past 10. Mm. Today I have brought the class just because uh, Yogeshwar, you just join, quickly join. Or after that, I will not invite. Okay, 5 minutes is done. So we have now 51 participants. So this sort of participation should be there every day. From the next class, obviously, I will be using the whiteboard if you can see properly. Simply, instead of laptop, instead of all these uh, presentations, I will be directly starting with our normal class lectures. So the first day, let me bring the what we are going to learn. What we are going to learn, that is a very important thing. Okay. So my dear students, I hope everyone can listen. Welcome to my the classes of analysis of structures 2, which is the subject code of CIVL 3101. This subject is one of the finest subjects which you will going to learn in the next few months. Courtesy me, Professor Shourav Kaur, and also my co-professor, Professor Pooja Basu Choudhury, will be taking the classes. I hope within the next few weeks, a few months, you will be really enjoying the subject. So I hope I don't need any special introduction. I'm Professor Shourav Kaur, assistant professor. My specialization in structural engineering. My research interests are cement concrete, ultra high strength concrete, geopolymer concrete, self compacting concrete. Even I am involved in the repair rehabilitation of various old structures. And also finally, I have a huge interest in earthquake engineering. Till now, till date, till the month of July, I have 4 conference papers published till date, and I have 3 journal papers published. So whoever is really interested to do research in concrete, he or she can come to me whenever the college will be opening after pandemic. For better research works, we can usually go for a primarily in concrete, a cement concrete or concrete structures. You can all join me for a better research work. So subject, coming to this subject, if I tell about what is the importance of this course, the importance is very high. The importance is very high. How much importance? It has the, if you see, it is taking the position of the first position in your course curriculum in the third year. In the third year, you have a course curriculum. The first, we have 3 lectures. Primarily, we will have 3 lectures and 1 tutorial, but practically it's online class. So we will only be taking 4 lecture classes. 2 will be taken for section A. 2 classes will be taken for section B in a week. So we have credit points 4. We have credit points 4, very important. It's a very important course. Now, why it is so important? It is so important because not only we have learned the basics of strength of materials or analysis of structure 1. Not only we have learned the basics of strength of materials or analysis of structure 1, we have also have to learn this subject because for proper design, for proper reinforced concrete design or steel design, we need this importance of the subject. Now come to what we are going to learn. In this course structure, in the first module, it is divided in 4 modules. The course is divided in 4 modules of about 42-44 hours. Then perfectly we will follow that trend. In module 1, it will be taking 12 hours, which will be taken by your Pooja Basu Choudhury madam. In this, you will learn analysis of statically indeterminate structures. Here we will be studying the analysis or how the behavior of statically indeterminate structures are coming into play. In analysis 1, we have learned about statically determinate structure, and in stage 2, that is part 2, we will be learning indeterminate structure. So after all this thing, I will showing the code structure. I will be just revising with you. Please keep your audio mute. Everyone is requested to keep the audio mute. Okay, unless and until it is required, you are not allowed to switch it on. When I am speaking, I am the boss. Okay. So coming to the code structure, in the analysis of indeterminate structure, we will be studying moment distribution method, a very, very nice technique where we can easily find out the bending moment, shear forces, slope and deflection of a continuous beams. Maybe it may be two span, it may be more than two spans. I will show all the pictures later on, no problem. The moment distribution method will be of 6 hours. And the second is, under this moment distribution method, we will be learning the effect of sway, the effect of settlement, rotation of supports, frames with or without side sway. So we need to study the behavior of structures where it is settling. Just like you settle down on its chair, the support conditions, it may be roller, pinned or fixed support, any support condition, uh, yeah, any support condition, what is the displacement, what is the settlement, that we are going to learn. The moment distribution will take 6 hours, and effect of settlement, side sway, geometric sway, sway meaning the side sway, side movement, it will take about 6 hours. Okay. Now coming to the another, in the module 1 only, it's a big module, we will learn slope deflection method, the method and application in continuous beams and frames. So we will be analyzing the frames, 2D simple portal frame, two-dimensional simple portal frame. Okay, in moment distribution method, and also we will learn using slope deflection method, which will take about 4 hours, and then we will take or learn the analysis or the behavior of suspension bridges. My dear students, it's very important, it's very nice. We will be learning how the forces are acting on the suspension bridges and stiffening girders. I will show you how the suspension bridges and stiffening girders are actually play an important role in connecting areas, in connecting countries, and even helping in transportation facilities. Secondly, in module 2, which I will take, it is about 12 hours. In the module 2, we will be learning unsymmetrical bending. Whatever the loads coming on a beam, it may be a beam, it may be a slab, it may be a column, any structural member, how the unsymmetrical bending is occurring, this we will learn, and what is the behavior, and how to find out the bending moment, how to find out the stresses, everything. We will allow, or we will learn everything about unsymmetrical bending, which will be the first chapter, which I will start from the next class. This will take about 6 hours. And second, we will have a curved beam analysis. That means the beams which are curved, not in vertically, but plan. We have seen curved balconies, we have seen curved auditoriums, curved surfaces. So we will learn the analysis of curved beams. Along with that, learn about the hooks, rings, and bow girders. Again, it will take 6 hours. In module 3, again, it is being taught by Professor Pooja Basu Choudhury. In the module 3, we'll learn about the plastic analysis of structures. That means till date, we have learned about all the members, all the behavior of structure are considered when the behavior is elastic. Elastic meaning the stress-strain relationship is linear. Stress is directly proportional to strain. As far as we have Young's modulus of elasticity also. So, but in this chapter, we will learn about inelastic behavior of frames as well as beams. It will take about 8 hours. It's very easy part. In the module 4, again it will be taken by me, which will take 10 hours. The first portion, we will have approximate method of analysis of structures subjected to lateral and horizontal loading. Very important. We will study the behavior of all the frames. We will study the behavior of various frames. That is two-dimensional frame. I will show you how it looks. Two-dimensional frame subjected to wind load or earthquake load, like that. That is subject to lateral loading. We will learn the approximate method, not the accurate method. In that, we have portal and cantilever methods for portal frames, which will take 4 hours. And the last portion of our chapter will be analysis of indeterminate structures using matrix method. Using the operations of matrix analysis, which you have learned in mathematics, engineering mathematics, we will learn how to solve or how to find or how to determine the shear force and bending moment, the slope and deflection also, using the matrix operation, primarily using two different methods, stiffness and flexibility method, which will take about 6 hours. So overall, if you add all the hours, we are taking more or less 42 to 44 hours. So this is the schedule, or this is the scheme of the syllabus in analysis of structures 2. Okay. So this is everything, my dear students. If you are able to write down or keep some note anywhere about. Okay. Okay. So coming to, so this is the scheme, or this is the schedule of the syllabus. The schedule of the syllabus which we are going to learn in this chapter. Now coming to, if you talk about structures. If you talk about structures, let me share the presentation. Just wait. I am. Just wait for a few minutes. Okay. Again, one important issue on instruction. That is, my dear students, this meeting automatically ends. The Zoom meeting automatically ends after 40 minutes. So you have to again rejoin the meeting. If after 40 minutes, the meeting ends, you have to rejoin with the same ID and same password. Okay, I will not be ending by myself. Okay, our classes is about 50 minutes or 60 minutes, 1 hour class. So once the meeting of 40 minutes is over, you will again have to rejoin, because for your attendance purposes, and we have to have minimum of 80% attendance in online classes. Okay, so the attendance is not a big issue. Someone is raising hand. Yeah, if any question, any problem. If you have any problem, you can unmute yourself and you can ask, or else there is no need. Okay. Okay. So if you're talking about structural analysis, you have been taking a break of 2 to 3 months, where we have almost forgotten the basics of structural analysis. Okay. So when we're talking about structural analysis, let me take or revise some older schemes or older concepts which you have learned, and also some of the many concepts which you should all have in your mind. You should all have some concepts in your mind. Is very important. It may be discussed in your previous classes, or it may not have been discussed. But I personally feel, as the from the coming from the fraternity of structural engineering, everyone should have a basics of. Yogeshwar is having some problem. I don't know. I'm admitting him every time, but Yogeshwar is having some problem. Okay. So coming to the structural analysis, the concept which I am going to tell, it's a very unique scheme. If you see this presentation very properly, my dear students, if you, yeah. So the first scheme, if you see how the structural analysis is coming into the picture. First, we have the loads. Whenever any structure, we have the loads coming. The loads may be direct loading, the loads may be indirect loading. Please keep in mind, my students, this is a very conceptual class where I'm not teaching you any sort of chapter or any sort of calculations. I'm just discussing about what is the basic theme, what we are going to learn, or what we learn in structural analysis. This I am discussing today because in the next classes I will never get time. So more and more try to focus on what we are going to learn in this PPT, in these presentations. You don't have to remember, you don't have to memorize, but just have to remember a few concepts. So loads which is coming due to the direct loading cases, or we have some indirect loading cases. The loads can be direct loading. It may be, I will show you in details, the direct loading may be wind load, earthquake load, dead load, some live loads, something like that. And indirect loading, it can be due to support settlement, where supports are settling. We have some unequal thermal distribution or thermal expansion and contraction that can be taken as indirect loading. So the loads which are acting on the skeletal structure. Now, what is skeletal structure I going to mean? For any structure, we as a human being, we have muscles, we have skeletons also. So skeletal structure is an idealization. That means if you have a three-dimensional structure, we are idealized or imagining the structure to be drawn in pen and pencil, right? We are drawing the whole structure. It may be 2D frame, it may be 3D frame, it may be Burj Khalifa three-dimensional model. We are analyzing or imagining the structure in pen and pencil. So that is called skeletal structure. We have a skeletals, we have skeletal structure. So the skeletal structure is we actually, for structural analysis, we undertake not the realistic view or the realistic material of the 3D structure, but we take the skeletal structure. The skeletal structure can be of two different manner. It can be elements, that is members. What type of element? It can be beam, the horizontal flexural members beam. We may have columns, the vertical members of columns, and even we have slabs. If you see at the ceiling, if you have the slabs. Also, we can have staircases. So various, we have masonry wall. So the elements can be of anything. It can be of space primarily. What we have learned in the first chapter, concept of static determinacy and indeterminacy. We have learned space or plane frame. Space or plane frame. Space frame is 3D. Plane frame is 2D. Grid or beam. Grid or beam is very important. Space or plane truss. If you have done truss analysis using your influence line diagram, Mueller-Bridge-Loss principle, all these things, you have learned space and plane trusses. Now, the skeletal structure also involves joints or supports. Primarily, joints are the rigid joint. We can have pin joint. In the rigid joint, we have a number of unknowns. We have a normal, that is rigid joint means fixed beam. We have fixed joint, we have pin joint, and we may have semi-rigid joint. Now, there are other more different classifications. We have roller, we have elastic, we have spring, various type of joint. But primarily for your bachelor degree level, we are only fixing into fixed roller and hinged joint. Fixed roller and hinged or pin joint. Okay. Now, skeletal structures So it consists of elements and supports. Now the skeletal structures we have to analyze, being structural engineer, whether it is stable or unstable. And next we have to find out the degree of indeterminacy. The degree of indeterminacy is the primary factor which we have to calculate. It can be static, it can be kinematic. So you have learned in the last class, in the last subject, the concept of static indeterminacy and determinacy. So that we will take the help before analyzing any structure. So from skeletal structure, we will find out the response. What is the behavior of the skeletal structure? My structure is there. I am putting loads on that. It can be direct loading, it can be indirect loading. And what are the responses we are getting? What is the behavior? The responses can be in terms of forces. It can be vertical reaction, right? Forces meaning vertical reaction, or it can be displacement. Displacement meaning whether my beam is settling down, whether there is support settlement, something like that. We have learned in slope deflection chapter. In deflection is basically the displacement. And forces is basically as the internal forces. It can be axial forces, it can be vertical forces, which is coming into the structure. Secondly, obviously I told you about we have load, we have structure, we have response. On the direct action, the direct loading action can be segregated into force field. Primarily structures, whatever response we get, or whatever input or output, load is basically the input, response is basically the output. So the input, the direct loading, it can be considered under force field. Indirect loading, it can be under displacement. Why I am telling direct loading? Because direct loading, I told you, it can be dead load, that is a self weight of the structure, live load, the load of your accessories you can move, which are table, chair, almirah, then your human beings, live load. We can have wind load due to wind, tornadoes. We can have earthquake loads, earthquake, seismic tremors. So direct loading will be directly coming to the forces as forces, and indirect loading, I told you, support settlement, deflection, all these under displacement field. And when you're talking about response of the behavior, support reaction, obviously I told you, in response what we're learning. We will learning the support reactions, that is the reaction due to supports. Internal force reaction, the forces generated internally, that is axial forces. We have learned that when we are cutting a two-dimensional member, when we cut a member, we are getting three different forces: a shear force, a moment, and an axial force. So support reactions, internal force reaction, and displacements. Okay. So my dear students, I'm getting an alarming of the remaining meeting is about 10 minutes. So after I end the meeting, after the meeting gets ended, you have to again rejoin. Okay, I will admit you all. Okay, so please you have to maintain the decorum. So what are the underlying principles? What is these are principles to analyze? We will using the principles of equilibrium forces. The Newton's third law. We have equilibrium forces sigma fx0, fy0, and mz0. That means all the sum of the forces along x direction 0, sum of the forces along y direction is 0, and all the sum of the moments is 0. Equilibrium of forces. Then we will learn about compatibility of displacements. Obviously, we have learned in the consistent deformation method in analysis of structure 1. The compatibility of displacement is a very important issue or principle. And next is the force displacement relationship. This part, the force displacement relationship, we haven't learned till date. This we will learn primarily in this analysis of structure 2. I will teach you force displacement relation. Madam will teach you force displacement relation using various techniques, using various methods. Madam will teach you using slope deflection method. Madam will teach you using moment distribution method. And I will be teaching you using matrix method and unsymmetrical bending. So force displacement method, that is F delta. Any structure analysis we can represent in terms of F delta representation. That means the force displacement relationship we have learned in the experiment of structure, the strength of materials. We have used a spring system, and we used to the leaf spring, and we are applying some compressive load on the spring, the curved one. And there we have found out the graph between force and displacement, right? So any structural analysis can be represented in terms of force and displacement contribution. So loads I was talking about, we can have dead loads, we can have live loads, we can have wind loads, we can have snow loads, earthquake, soil and water pressure. We have learned in analysis, soil mechanics. We have wave loads. Whenever the structure is in marine or in seashore, we can have wave loads, we can have blast loads due to explosion. Nowadays the concept of blast resistant structure is coming into the picture. So primarily dead, live, wind, snow, earthquake. These five are the primarily loads as given in our Indian Standard Code IS 875, Part 1 to Part 5. You'll be learning in the RCC, reinforced cement concrete, that we have various different codes. Talking about the direct loading, yes, we have the concentrated loads we have learned. Concentrated loads, we can have distributed loads, kilonewton per meter. That is the intensity of the load per meter. And sometimes we can have the kilonewton per meter square. That is the intensity of load per meter square in case of slabs. In case of slabs, we will learn in the design of reinforced concrete structures, we have the intensity of loading per meter square. But for beams, it will be kilonewton per meter. Please keep in mind, I'm talking about a very fundamental part. Okay, from now on, these things you should have. Along with concentrated loads and distributed loads, we can have concentrated moments. We can have concentrated moments and distributed moments. So whenever we have a concentrated load not falling on the centroidal axis, if you see this picture, this dotted line is the centroidal axis, but I am having a constant force at some distance, an eccentricity. We call it an eccentricity E. So at some eccentricity, if the load is acting, we will have a moment coming P in multiplied with E. PE, which is a moment. Okay. So this section is basically inside the screen. If this is the section along ZX direction, left to right, this is the section inside the screen. Okay. It is not the right side or left side, it is inside the screen. Okay. So if we have a loading like that, we can have a moment due to eccentricity. Your teachers will be talking about eccentric loading in case of columns, in case of beams in reinforced concrete design. For indirect loading, which I was talking about, it's many students or many teachers don't discuss about that. We will talk about support displacement or support settlement. I was talking about in the syllabus, support settlement. Support displacement is nothing but support settlement. If we have construction errors, it may be the errors, maybe the charger, or maybe the casting, or maybe the formwork is not correct. The construction errors I was talking about in the estimation costing, we talked about there's construction errors, support settlement, and environmental changes. Yeah, obviously that means if you have unequal contraction, unequal expansion due to temperature differences, obviously that is an effect coming on the structure. That is environmental stringing. So we can induce a force response if the structure is over rigid. Otherwise, a displacement response only. That means we can get the force responses. We can get the force behavior as the output if the structure is over rigid. Means I am additionally adding members, unnecessary members, that is over rigid. Otherwise, we will get only displacement response. Now, I already talked about, we have learned statically determined structures with this part and work energy methods. Statically determined structures and work energy methods, we have talked about in structure analysis 1. Even the force method also. But primarily, we will learn the stiffness method, slope deflection method, moment distribution method, the displacement methods. Displacement, basically, we have two types of methods, my students. We have force method and we have displacement method. Okay, we have force method and we have displacement method. So displacement method, where displacement is taken as the unknown. We have slope deflection method and moment distribution method. And while in the force method, we have learned theorem of least work, virtual work in the last classes, method of consistent deformation, all these things. And also laterly, we will learn the flexibility and stiffness method. Flexibility and stiffness method. Flexibility stiffness method. Flexibility method is considered as force method, while stiffness method is considered as your displacement method. Now, I was talking about the structure. We will have loads coming on the structure. We will have the response, and based on this response, we will do the structural design. And obviously, we will check all these 5 parameters. We will check stability, we will check strength, economy, stiffness, and aesthetics. Primarily for your bachelor degree course or master degree courses, we will be basically involved in stability, strength, and stiffness. These three are the primary considerations when we are just only designing or when we are just only analyzing the structure, being structural engineer. Secondly, when we're talking about a realistic construction, we will talk about economy, that the structure should be cheap enough. We will talk about aesthetic, the looks. I told you the same thing. The structural analysis is the application of soil mechanics or solid mechanics to predict the response of a given structure. I told you about idealization. Idealization means conceptualizing or imagining. We have, if you see the full structure, we have beam, column. This is called the frame structure. We have beams, columns, and slabs. Unlike for the last 20, 30 years, this concept of frame structure has come into consideration because the majority of the loads are taken by the beams and columns, even the slabs also. Basically, it's a frame space structure. It is called frame structure. FRAMET, frame structure. For the last 30 years, we are getting into the concept of frame structures. Earlier, we had the concept of load-bearing walls, which is called the load-bearing structure, where the walls used to be much more thicker, about 10 inches, about 12 inches, but the maximum load used were taken care by the load-bearing walls. But for the last 30 years, we are converted, because of advancement in RCC and steel, we are going for frame structure. So this is the idealization or conceptualization. We have already learned about simple supported beams, fixed beams. Primarily, you have learned simple supported beams, but in this chapter, in this analysis of structure 2, we will be delving about a fixed beam, continuous beams. Primarily, we have talked about plane truss, how to find out the degree of static interdependency, DS and DK, plane truss, plane frame. Such plane frame you will observe or will face subsequently. Then we have funicular cables. We have cables, funicular cables. You will have in the case of stiffness girders. Then we have arches. We have already learned 3-inch arches. In this, we will learn 2-inch arches. Okay. Just a few minutes left, less than 1 minute. So when the meeting will end, automatically you will again join with the same ID and password. Okay, for your attendance purposes. So already I told about grid flow plan, grid flow concept. We have columns, we have slabs, and I told that we have rigid jointed frame structure. And here we have seen the communication towers. We have communication towers, transmission towers. All these are 3-dimensional